Here's the deal. You really need to stop picking up these styles for your reselling business in 2025. Hey y'all, I am MOGIBETH. I am the owner of a reselling business on Poshmark, Mercari, and eBay. When I'm sourcing, before I check comps, which I think you should always check comps, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll link my video all about checking comps up on the screen. There are 5 things that you need to consider. The first is your cost of goods. The second is the brand. The third is the style. The fourth is the size. And then the fifth is the condition. So last week we talked about Boho brands that are great going into 2025. If you didn't watch that video, I'll also link that on the screen. But today we're talking about style. Both are really important to research as a clothing reseller. And in today's video, we are going over 25 styles that you need to stop picking up going into the new year. At the end of the video, we'll also review a few styles that you should be picking up because they're performing really well. So let's dive into it. So I picked 25 styles that don't perform well for me, and I find that I pass on the vast majority of the time. Number 1, this was a big style that was super popular during the pandemic, but has since very much cooled off, and I literally won't pick up anything that is this style, and that is tie-dye. Specifically, tie-dye loungewear was everywhere just a few years ago, and now it can be found in thrift stores everywhere, but if I come across it, I will not pick up tie-dye. It's really hard to move anything at all that is tie-dye. Number 2, and this is one that people have been saying for a long time, and it's still very much true today, printed denim. If you come across printed denim, it's really hard to move. There are a few very trendy exceptions, like sometimes cheetah print right now can do kind of well, but for the most part, I would really pass on any printed denim. Honestly, that brings me to number 3 on the list, and that is colorful denim. Like any color, red denim, pink denim, even green denim, I just will not pick up at all. I even really try to not pick up tan or gray or other neutrals. I stick primarily to blue denim, and then I will sometimes do black denim, but white denim I pass on because oftentimes condition is not good enough in order for me to sell. So I really just focus on solid blue and solid black sometimes, and that's it. I'm really particular with denim. I love selling jeans, but I've noticed that if I pick up a tan pair of jeans, even if they're otherwise a really cute style, a great brand, a great size, it will be really hard for me to sell. So I'm getting much more selective with denim. Similarly, if we're looking at athletic wear, that brings me to number 4, printed leggings. I realized when it comes to leggings, the simpler the better, and if there's any print on them whatsoever, it's really difficult to get them to move. So I do not pick up any printed leggings at all anymore. And it's also true that colorful leggings are harder to move. I really like to just sell black leggings. Sometimes I'll do, blue or brown or green or something like that, like a dark green. But generally, I really just like black. And if there's a red or a peach or a light blue or something like that, I will pass on it because it just will not perform well anymore, in my opinion and my experience. Okay, so then number 6 is something that there are probably a few exceptions, but generally, this is my rule of thumb. I do not pick up anything snakeskin. This goes for shoes, bags, coats, anything that's faux snakeskin, I really do not find performs well right now. It's just really not on trend, and it's really, really hard to move. So I would avoid picking up snakeskin type of pieces. Similarly, I am finding that there are exceptions, but for the most part, shearling pieces are not performing very well. I would say maybe shearling line things are okay, but if the predominant style is just a shearling coat, for instance, it's not performing that well. So if I come across like a shearling coat that's Anthropology or something, I really won't pick it up. I'll pass on it because it's a trend that has, for the most part, come and gone and is just not selling well. Okay, the next one is one that I have made this mistake a bunch of times recently, but I realized it's just not moving. and that is vegan leather. I picked up a pair of Mother vegan leather pants at Crossroads this year, and I thought they would perform well, and they are not moving. It's really the only piece of Mother that I cannot get to move. And so sometimes I'll come across really great Goldie vegan leather pieces or other designer pieces that are vegan leather, and I'm just passing. Like, I really do not pick them up. I don't pick up vegan leather dresses, vegan leather pants, vegan leather jackets. I just do not find it as well. I am sure there are exceptions to this rule, but generally I even found a vegan leather Nanushka vest, I believe, that performed really, really well a couple of years ago, but now when I check comps, I was like, wow, I'm not picking this up. It just is not performing well, and so vegan leather is kind of, it's a hot take maybe on this list, but I will not pick it up. It's like an automatic no for me. Another automatic no is anything with zipper detailing. If there's zippers along the ankles on jeans, absolutely not. Zippers on leggings, absolutely not. Zippers on jackets, no. No matter if it's Free People or whatever, I will not pick it up. And similarly, moto style things are just not performing that well right now. Moto style boots, moto style jackets, moto style pants. If it's moto style, it's just not performing very well. It's not on trend, and even if it's an expensive brand, I will just pass. Also, studding. The oldest piece of inventory that I have, I can't believe when I purchased it, I thought it was like a home run. It's this pair of Ray, which is the in-house Revolve brand shoes. They're heels, and they just have they're like a plain black heel, but they have a studding detail on them. And I really do believe that that's the reason I cannot move them. I lowered the price to $15, and yet I still cannot move these heels. I'll probably send them to ThredUp soon. So to me, that is always in my head when I come across items that have studding detail, and things with studding details just is not performing that well. So studding is a no-go for me. Next is a big one. It's a style that will come into trend like with a bang, will sell really well, and then it won't sell just all of a sudden. And I won't pick up anything that is neon. Right now, neon is not performing well. I don't care if it's neon green, yellow, orange, whatever. Neon is a no-go for me. It doesn't matter what designer it is. I'm not picking up neon things at all right now, and it's an automatic pass. I should have included this with the jeans section of this video, but skinny jeans. It took me a very long time, like way too long to figure this one out, but skinny jeans are just, doesn't matter if they're high rise, doesn't matter if they have cute detailing on them at all. Skinny jeans are not selling well right now. It doesn't really matter what brand it is. I do not pick up skinny jeans anymore. I think maybe someday it will come back in style, but that day is not today. I do not pick up skinny jeans. Another style of jeans that is an automatic pass for me is anything with extreme distressing. Honestly, I'm finding that if it even has some distressing, it tends to sell less well than if it has none. But extreme distressing, where there's like a really ripped hole on the knee or a really chewed hem, it usually means that it's not going to sell well, so I will pass on it. I've also noticed, and this is number 15 on the list, that an exposed button fly doesn't perform well anymore. This was a trend that was really big for a very long time, and when I would find a pair of jeans with an exposed button fly, I made sure to include it as a style tag, and it meant that that pair of jeans would sell faster. It took me maybe too long to come around to the fact that that is no longer the case. Exposed button flies really don't perform that well anymore, and so I would prefer to pick up styles that do not have an exposed button fly. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about are some necklines and some just maybe top detailing that is an automatic no for me. So the first, and this one kind of has a caveat because there are certain styles that can do it well if done kind of minimalistically and in certain contexts, but generally this is a no for me, and that is cutout detailing. I've just found that items in my closet with cutouts, I have a hard time selling. If it's done in a really modern, sophisticated way, then it can work, but generally I find that this trend is not really selling all that well right now. So if something has a cutout, oftentimes it's an older style and it's not going to perform very well. Next is off the shoulder. I have the hardest time selling off the shoulder pieces, and I just have told myself I'm no longer picking that up at all. I recently picked up an Anthropologie dress that is off the shoulder, and I am kicking myself because I don't think it's going to sell very quickly because of the neckline. Off the shoulder is just a cut that really only suits certain people very well, and it's not really on trend right now, so it's just a harder sell when you do find it. So if I have a choice, I typically skip off the shoulder. Number 18, a very similar silhouette and neckline, but is an automatic no-go. That is cold shoulder. I think I've talked about this in a previous video, but it is definitely out. Anything with a cold shoulder. So off the shoulder means it's like coming off your shoulder, the whole neckline. Cold shoulder is like it's a regular shirt, but then it's got cutouts for the shoulder. And that performs horribly. It's been out for a while and it's still definitely out. So if you come across something that has a cold shoulder, pass on it. And if you have things in your closet like me that have a cold shoulder, good luck. You might want to try to liquidate it. The last neckline that I wanted to talk about that generally doesn't perform well is cowl neck. I will generally pass on things that are cowl neck, sweaters, tops. It just is really not performing well. It's not on trend, and it's a style that I have a really hard time moving now. So it's funny, I used to love cowl necks like 3 years ago, but it's not one to pick up right now. Okay, the next three styles are ones that are typically found on more bohemian style of dressing, and there is a type of bohemian look that's actually really on trend right now. I'll put up some photos of what is on trend, but the really detailed bohemian look or the peasant overly busy look is typically not doing that well. It's not selling well when I find it, and I am really scaling back on picking it up. So first is anything with tassel detailing. This is something that, again, I used to include as a style tag whenever I'd find something with tassels, and it would help the item to sell faster. Now it seems like it is definitely out of style, and it causes the item to sell much slower. So anything with a lot of tassel detailing or just like big tassels typically does not perform well. Similarly, fringe detailing is typically not performing well. I will generally pass on things with a lot of fringe and a lot of, extra kind of boho details. The more it has going on, the less likely it is to sell. And lastly, this is something that was on trend for a long time, the peasant style dress, the peasant style top. There are some pieces that can still perform well that are peasant style dresses. So I wouldn't necessarily say this is 100% of a no-go, but I'm finding definitely a lot of peasant style dresses and tops are selling a lot slower and not for as much as they used to. So I'm thinking like Spell and the Gypsy really doesn't sell as well as it used to. Natalie Martin and things of that nature just are definitely not selling nearly as well and are selling for a lot less than they used to sell for. And again, the busier the style, the more details it has, the more colors, the more stuff going on, it generally means that it's not selling as well. If it's more muted and more 70s inspired, then it's going to probably perform a little bit better. Okay, the next style I almost always pass on, and I have for a while now, but especially today, Bodycon style dresses. I will not pick those up. I do not pick up bandage style dresses. I do not pick up almost anything bodycon. Honestly, cocktail dresses are kind of a hard pickup for me these days. I have to really be convinced that it's going to be a good seller based off the style and the brand, but bodycon dresses almost always a no. And then the last two styles I wanted to talk about are shoe styles that I am passing on, but honestly I could commit a whole other video to just this topic. But the first is peep toe. I do not pick up anything with a peep toe. It's an automatic pass. Honestly, I really have been passing on heels a lot more than I used to. In general, they're just harder to move. I think especially post-pandemic, heels just aren't selling as well as they used to, but peep toe, heels, peep toe shoes, absolutely not. And then lastly, this is really a category issue that I've been seeing. I have a hard time moving booties, which I never thought I'd say. I mean, booties used to be like one of the best selling categories of anything in my closet. I find with boots in general, the only style that's really selling super well is like a chunky boot. Generally, I'm having a much harder time moving other kinds of styles, and booties, like the old kind of rag and bone booties, etc., really don't perform like they used to, and I'm generally passing on them. So, I mean, that is kind of a hot take. I'd be interested to hear your opinion down in the comments below, but I don't know, I can't sell booties to save my life, and I just don't pick them up anymore. Okay, so styles that sell really, really fast right now include anything that's oversized. So oversized sweaters, oversized dresses, oversized jeans. The biggest keyword for jeans right now is baggy or barrel. Those are the two keywords that if you find something that have those in the title and the style name, it's probably gonna perform well. Also, super wide leg styles are performing really well. Pleated style of pants and jeans are performing really well. I think really oversized, utilitarian, baggy, big, it's performing well. Like I talked about in my Boho brands video, kind of carpenter style, utility style, just kind of tomboyish style. Doing well. Also, things that are Western inspired are doing really, really well. So sweaters with a intarsia horse, for instance, gonna perform really, really well. Suede is doing well. Cowboy boots sell super fast. So Western styled things are doing great. And an overarching trend of what is doing well is old money. So if you think of anything country club aesthetic, academia aesthetic, structured, preppy, I think that's one reason why J. Crew blazers are doing so well right now. Anything that is specifically old money related can perform well. This also aligns with a trend that's performing well, which is rugby themed things. So striped, collared, polos doing really, really well. Similarly, nautical style things doing well. Things with stripes where the stripes are spaced out, and there's a word for that type of stripe, and I actually can't remember off the top of my head. That's doing well. And lastly, I kind of said this earlier, but the tomboyish aesthetic, menswear inspired pieces. So leather loafers, really structured blazers, oversized oftentimes, button downs, things of that nature are doing really well. So I hope this video was helpful. Let me know in the comments down below if you disagree with anything, if there are any other styles that you find are selling super fast for you right now. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope it was helpful to you in your reselling business, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, love y'all. Bye.